Welcome, Roland, to METALLERIUM Pages. It's a great pleasure to talk about Masterplan, this new album Metamorphosis, and more things related to the metal world. So we are starting by asking, how are you doing today, and how is the band during the last 8 years or 9 years? Because your album Pumpkins was released in 2017. Sound 9 years passed for the last album.
Yeah, it's not a real studio album, but it was something special. The band is doing great. I mean, in the moment, we have a lot of things to do. We just had a European tour. We finished 10 days ago, but we had already one festival show last weekend. So next show will be in Sweden Rock Festival in 2 weeks. And I think we have 7, 8 more festivals this summer. And many things to do. And I also personally, just me, I go to South America next month, playing shows in Brazil and Argentina, maybe Chile. I'm not sure. We will see. But you see, I'm really busy.
Okay. So no, the title Metamorphosis suggests a massive transformation. What is the core history behind this name, and how does this reflect where Masterplan stands today?
It stands like Masterplan is kind of like a free rock metal band or very melodic power metal, how you call it, without borders. Because in the past we started like with the first Masterplan album pretty free. Then we had a lineup with Roland. He didn't like so much power metal, so we had more the bluesy influences, more AOR. We still have it, but in the moment I prefer to have more the metal influences, which I came from Halloween. Like the faster songs, some German anthems, melodies, kind of stuff. So I don't mind about it. Why should I not use it anymore? Because the limitation is gone. So that's why we called it Metamorphosis, because it's a kind of free transforming from normal to more metal.
Okay. So you mentioned that this album takes a more direct, harder direction with fewer commercial or poppy elements. What inspired you to push back toward a heavy round metal sound?
I think it's just what I was, longing for, because I missed it a bit. Of course, we have the typical Masterplan songs. The last single we just released was like a lyric video, Electric Nights. It's a typical Masterplan song. But the first one, Chase the Light, was like a dramatic change, like more power metal, very fast, very aggressive, very unusual arrangements, So I wanted to surprise the people this time. And also with the second single, Through the Storm, which is really like an 80s, 90s power metal song, which Masterplan was never famous for. So that's what I wanted to show the people. But on the album, we still have a couple of really great songs, like Shadow Man, at least it's typical Masterplan, and many more.
Okay. Nice. So now it has been like, well, now talking about especially for the distance, no, because it's like it's 13 years since your last albums for now, Novum Initium, and now this why. So in this one, so why was not the perfect time to release these new songs? Do you think that is the best? Well, why you do select that after 13 years is the best year to release a new album with Masterplan?
I mean, Novo Minitium was like 13, 14 years ago already. And so the break, why we had such a long break was not because of not thinking which is the best release date or something. It's just I was too busy with my studio, recording and producing other young bands here in my studio in Slovakia. And I was very successful the last 15, 18 years. And 3, 4 years ago, I decided to come back to Masterplan to continue with our songwriting. And, I didn't write any song in this kind of 10 years between Novo Minitium and when we started songwriting for this new album, Metamorphosis. So I didn't write any song. I just didn't play much guitar. We just played live, like 5, 10 shows or festivals in a year. That's it, So we didn't disappear, but we didn't make anything new. So my studio was the main reason why the break was so long.
Okay. So you have stated that some musical ideas of this record actually go back many years. So how did it feel to finally dust off those older pieces and fit them into the modern puzzle of this album?
It's kind of natural progress, you know, when you listen to music which you like, which is not so much, to be honest. I'm not listening like new bands or let's say many music in my studio. So mostly I'm checking just sounds, and I really like good productions. Like that's maybe the reason why I was a producer.
Mhm.
And yeah, my favorite producer is Andy Sneap, and all his bands he produced, I was checking out. Is like Judas Priest, Saxon, the trash bands, you know, like Testament, Exodus, this kind of stuff. I was listening. So it's about good guitar sounds. It's about totally different genre of Masterplan style. So, but the influence was not big enough that you hear it in Masterplan. It's just about the production, about the sound, and like I said, it's a natural progress. You know, it's a time
Mhm.
people also think when you're a power metal guitar player or you're famous from Halloween or Masterplan that you're listening the same music. It's not true. I never listen to power metal.
Mm.
I would prefer listening to Rammstein instead of some power metal band from Italy or something. You know, this is not my thing. I'm not
Oh,
inspired by that. You know, when I write song, it's natural. It comes from inside. It's not that I have to copy someone. You know.
okay, okay. So another, well, not talking about especially for the first single, Chase the Light, so has received incredible feedback from fans. Why do you choose this specific track to introduce the world of of to the Metamorphosis era?
I think that's I was mentioning a little bit before already. I said this
Mhm.
was the biggest surprise for the people because it was one of my favorite songs. It's one of the last songs I wrote. Chase the Light is written by me, and our drummer Kevin Cott also loves it as the most. You know, I thought it's a cool song to show the people we're not releasing some radio-friendly song as the first title. You know, like we
Mhm.
always did. Back for My Life or Keep Your Dream Alive or you know Lost and Gone. They're all mid-tempo like bidding. You know, I wanted to get,
Mhm.
hey, come on, what is this? People should get thinking about. And that was my goal about this about releasing these songs first time for Metamorphosis, like getting a bigger surprise and not going the secure way of releasing poppy numbers for the radio, you know, which doesn't
Okay.
work anyway. We're all heavy metal. Nobody plays this in normal radio anyway.
Okay, okay, and understandable, understandable. Okay, so now other question also is the closing track, the Rise Again, was initially released back in 2024 through AFM Records. So how did this reworked version feature on this Frontiers release differ from the original single?
Yeah, this song is was still released 2 years ago on AFM, and the whole album was meant to be on AFM, to be honest. But AFM closed January last year, the department of the album releases, so they're not releasing new albums anymore. So they have just a back catalog. They stopped. They told me 6 months before if we can finish the album, and I said I think it's not possible because we need still 3 months for writing lyrics and vocal melodies. The album was done, was written, but not the melodies and the lyrics. And after that, you need to mix the album. So it wasn't possible. So on the same period of time, Frontiers contacted me already. So that's why we had, or me at least, I knew already we will change. And so when I talked with Frontiers about Rise Again, they said, yeah, we can use it, but the difference between the release of 2 years ago and now is a remix. It's a totally different mix, and I added a bit solo part, a longer solo part after the mid break, which was on the first version.
Okay, okay. So, as renewer, producer, and mixer, you handle a vast portion of studio work yourself. So, how do you balance your critical ear as a producer with instinctual passion as a guitar player to the recording process?
It's very difficult sometimes because you know sometimes you're fighting alone in the studio for many months or years, and sometimes you get very little input even from band members. Or sometimes I ask my wife what she thinks. You know, And on the end, you have to trust yourself. It's the experience. It's not that I do everything right, but I think, you know, it's for me is very important to keep the control about everything because we're not in the position anymore to have a budget of like having the biggest producer in the world around me and helping or going to Bahamas for recording some guitar solos. This is not the point anymore. You know, nowadays you do everything more or less alone, and yeah, I think my experience helped a bit. And but definitely, if I record a different band or other band, it's much faster than Masterplan because I was very critical. Sometimes I did it 3 times and then I didn't like it and I did it again. So that's a kind of negative stuff, you know, when you do everything on your own.
Okay, okay. No, no, you've noted that the band successfully preserved its signature progressive power metal elements on tracks like Through the Storm. So how do you keep those complex arrangements direct and striking without overcomplicated them?
Yeah, I have something that is, I think it's a natural thing because of listening to the music I was growing up, you know.
Mhm.
Um, because I like easy music, but I'm not the kind of guy who listens to AC/DC only because only of three guitar chords and four. That's not my thing. But I like easy stuff. I love Scorpions, you know. I love Michael Schenker, MSG, or the UFO stuff from the 70s. I like Grand Funk, which is a rock blues little metal band. So, but on the other side, I was listening to Toto many years. So I had all the albums, you know. Toto was one of my favorite bands before I joined Halloween. And then I was very much into Saga, Kansas, Styx Foreigner. That's not so progressive, but you know, I like this kind of progressive element. So at that younger age, it was a natural thing for me listening to it. And I also played in bands. People don't know about it, but after Rampage, there was a period. I have 3, 4 bands, and every band was with a keyboard player, and was kind of more tricky arrangements, not so easy like poppy songs. So it's a natural thing. I think I don't like to be complicated. Sometimes I think it's just me, you know.
Okay, 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 okay. I understand this. So now talking about more a little more about the promotion for this new album. So what behind all the actual tours or actual dates that you have, what kind of plans do you have for this Metamorphosis and Master Plan? Because it's 13 years since your last album. Now we have this new one. Perhaps you're already working a new album. Who knows? Because there is too many years, or perhaps songs that we will not put on this album. So, what kind of plans do you have for Master Plan and this Metamorphosis for the future?
The future is definitely not making a long break anymore because, like I said, I'm back now to for Masterplan, and also I have to mention that I have a record deal with Frontiers for my solo album. In the
Okay.
moment, I'm writing songs for my solo album, but also continue writing for Masterplan. And Masterplan on this last album, we had 3 songs left, which are not bad songs, but they weren't not really 100% finished. And that means we have already a couple of songs for the next album. And so in the moment, we just playing the festivals. We have plans for next year, more festivals, maybe a second tour, the tour we made already in Europe in April. And yeah, South America is on a plan. I'm dealing now in the moment for March 27 to come to South America with Masterplan, and but it's
Okay.
not 100% confirmed. So it's a lot of stuff in the pipeline, a lot of plans. So it's very nice to see when you release a new album after such a long time that everybody seems festivals worldwide are more interested in the band again. So it's really cool to see. So I think this promotional stuff will work another year minimum.
Okay, okay. So you have always been known for your incredible blend of melody and neoclassic speed. What specific guitars and amps did you rely on the most heavily to get this crushing note on the Metamorphosis?
Um, it's very easy to be honest. I'm using just you know I have 2 different sounds in my career. So in the Halloween times I used Marshall and Fender Stratocaster a lot, like 90% with a treble booster. And since Masterplan or Dark Ride album, I'm using rectifiers or modern amps like PV 5150 or EVH, which is the same 5150 amps from Eddie Van Halen influenced. So I use these amps because you get most of them also live on festivals. On every festivals they have it. And I need just to bring one guitar and 2 or 3 pedals. One is a tuner, one is a little distortion, and one is a noise gate, nothing else. So I'm very, very easy. I don't have, how you say, transmitter system. I use cables on stage. So I think the secret is just a combination of my playing and my fat sounding guitar from the 70s, my Les Paul. I think that's the secret.
Okay, okay. Now, how has your approach to writing guitar riffs changed from your early days in Hello It compared to your craft riffs for Masterplan in this 2026?
Oh, I don't know. It's hard to explain. It's like I'm not, writing songs very quick. It takes really time. I'm collecting ideas for months, weeks. When I have a good idea, I record it with my mobile phone nowadays. In the past, different things, like some cheap recorder, whatever. And then I take it to the computer. And after some months, I'm listening again. And then I realize if I like it again after some months, it's maybe 10% of the 100, which I like. And then I start creating something, or I'm getting inspired to make. Mostly I never write a guitar riff and have a song. It's mostly just an inspiration of different things, mostly keyboards or drums even. I like it very much to have. In the past, I wrote many songs just with the keyboards first, and then I can't play keyboards, but I program it, and then I'm inspired, and then it's for me easy to play guitar around it to make it like Masterplan sounding.
Okay, okay. So you run your own studios and produce many other bands. Is it harder to produce your own music because you are too close to it, or it easier because you know exactly what you want?
Um, Both is right. Sometimes it's difficult, especially when you're not so experienced. But now I feel more and more happy about myself, or yeah, more relaxed about everything I'm doing. Especially now I'm working on my solo album. I don't care so much about the sound. I just want the performances for me more important. It's like I don't try to make overdoing it or overproducing it on my solo album now. It's a bit easier than Masterplan maybe, and but I think it's both right. Sometimes it's great to have some. In the past, I was not happy with the sound.
Okay.
Because it's like you're relying or lying on the producers or some engineers in the studio and hope they do the best. But on the end, you always think, oh, my guitar doesn't sound good. That's not cool. So now I feel more happy since I'm doing it on my own. You know.
Mm. Okay, okay. So other thing that's not talking about a little more things. So modern metal production is often criticized or sounding too robotic or now over edited or also now where a lot of people are using AI for a lot of things. So how do you keep the mix of metal morphosis sounding massive while preserving this natural human energy?
I mean, you can say Masterplan is also a bit, especially in the beginning, we had overproduced stuff like very, very clean to rhythm parts, editing parts, drums were totally edited. But now the new album, I didn't care so much, I had, I think 50% of the solo parts I played already as a demo, and I tried to make it the same way or better, and then I said, no, I keep my demo, you know. It
Okay.
doesn't need to be 100% edited or something. It's not necessary, but depends on the style. It's the same with the vocals. Um, Normally, as a producer, I was always auto tune every singer I recorded. The new master plan, we didn't use it, just on my voice a bit, because I'm not the most experienced singer. But on Rick, we just kept it because he has such a natural, over distorted voice, and the auto tune doesn't work for him because he has so many harmonies in his voice. If you tune his voice and then the harmonies, it gets out of tune, even worse. So we kept it. Just keep it like natural. Listen, when you hear all my idols from the 70s, 80s, 90s, nothing was auto tuned or something fixed, and nobody was complaining. So it's just get used to it again. I don't like this kind of cold productions as well too much. I like it clean stuff like that, but it's basically more like a mixing trick instead of cleaning and editing. It's not necessary.
Okay, okay. Now, talking more about your legacy and obviously your past in general, fans still celebrate your work on iconic Halloween albums like Master of the Rings and The Dark Ride. So, do you see any sonic threads or musical DNA from those classic alive in this metamorphosis?
Of course, everything I learned in Halloween was, of course, it's now in my DNA. It's not, in the beginning I was not a natural Halloween player. I learned it. It took some years, but after 12 and a half years, it gets automatically into your blood system or DNA. And now every song I'm writing, I'm thinking sometimes, what would I do in Halloween on this part?
Mhm.
And especially my guitar melodies in the background on the choruses or bridges. I always adding some mid-range melodies, which helps the vocals. And this is the style of what I learned in Halloween, of course, and I continue with it. That's I like it. It's kind of cool stuff which other bands not doing so much.
Hmm. Okay, okay. When Masterplan burst onto the scene in 2003, the debut album changed the power metal landscapes. How do you look back at that 20 year plus year legacy? And did you ever think that the band will still be going strong today?
I think there was a big change for me as a musician, like what I learned on the Dark Rides record, and then everything I learned there was such a deep impact for me. I was very uh, so everything I learned from Roy Z, especially about guitar tuning, about the sound of the Dark Ride record, it just opened my vision. I was so locked about everything I did before, like everything mid-rangey, small, you know, and it was a deep impact. The Dark Ride was definitely an open door for me for the new sound, which I always wanted to do, but I didn't know how to do it. And that's a kind of album which definitely changed um, my world as a producer or guitar player, and even a songwriter or arranger. Everything helped a lot. And yeah, I think I wanted to continue like this, but not copying it exactly. So that's why the first master plan sounds like that, and the second one. And I think it's still my goal to keep it this way in a way, but of course not 100%. I don't want that every album sounds really the same.
Okay, okay, I understand. Now, talking about especially one thing, I think you answered this kind of question many times because Master Plan has three vocalists since the beginning. It started with John Lane, then the second Mike DiMeo, and the last one Rick Alsey. So and usually change when you change the vocalist is very difficult because they have their own personality on live and studio. As a producer, you denote a lot of things more than me. So now, how difficult for you was change since the tones or the sounds since the first voices for John Lane, then the second Mike, and now with you are a new vocalist with Rick Alsey. Even he started with you like 2012, but is the new record with him.
Uh, yeah, I think the problem was just we started with one of the best singers in the world. It's like if you have Johan Lande, what you should do after he's leaving, it's just a small chance to continue, and we did, and we
Mhm.
tried, and yeah, we tried with Mike DeMeo. It didn't work so well. I mean, I love the album, but everything was fine, but the chemistry between us wasn't so well. And the live performances, we are like a power metal band, and like I said, we wanted some action. We wanted to keep the people singing with us, but he was not the front man who wanted to push them like Andy Darius or Michael Kiske or even Jorn later. In the beginning, Jorn was also very, very quiet on stage, I remember.
Mhm.
But later, he was really powerful and self-secure. And then, of course, and we had Jorn back for Time to Be King out for the album once. Then he disappeared again. And then since then, we have Rick, and Rick is definitely band saver. Without him, the band would be dead. Who's singing? We need a singer who has a kind of similar voice, raspy singing. Um, Yeah, the biggest difference is, of course, you started with one of the best, and
Okay.
of course, Johan is very, very inspirational. He wrote many, many melodies, lyrics. Um, he's very musical. That means he has a lot of yeah, equal kind of part as a songwriter, you know. And Rick is more like a calm guy. He's more singing my ideas now because he's not really into the songwriting of power metal. If you listen to his solo work, it's more AOR, you know. But he loves Masterplan, but it's like a different. Everybody's different. But for me, with Rick working is it's the best time in the band so far because we have a good relationship and the whole band has so much fun, and that's why we play live and people love us so much. You know, of course, you always have complainers worldwide, but it's in every lineup. It's the same in Halloween. You know, I remember this Michael Kiske story and
Mhm.
Andy Darius. It's always like fans are like that, especially on the internet. Yeah.
Okay, well, yes, yes. So now we are very close to this interview, Roland, and for this, yeah, like more like personal or for fun questions. Aside from metal, what kind of music do you listen to at home when you was want to relax and turn off or your inner audio engineer? Because you said it, you never hear now power metal, you just hear perhaps other kind of music.
Yeah, like I said, I'm very much into productions, and to be honest, on my CD player, I think I have something like Judas Priest or something. You know, it's like hard to explain. It's like I love Testament listening,
Mhm.
and but it's not that I want to make this music. It's just relaxing. I want to get some different feelings, you know. And but when I'm in the car, I'm not listening to any metal. I'm just have the radio on. Sometimes there's a rock channel, and then I like it, you know. But it's not so much here in Slovakia or in Czech Republic when I drive
Mhm.
with my car. But it's like, you know, I remember when I came here 20 years ago, Halloween was all the time in the radio. I didn't like it, you know. It's like normal, but it's I like pop stuff as well. So I like Queen. You know, it's Queen is not a really metal band,
Mhm.
and if they play some Beatles, I love it. You know, or Stones, nothing wrong with that.
Okay, okay. So now, if you could form a super group with any musician living or dead to record just one song, who should we be in this dream lineup?
I'm not too crazy. I mean, some guys already dead, which I loved. You know, I mean, on
Mhm.
drums, I would love to have Cozy Powell. You know,
Mhm.
um, bass player maybe Geddy Lee, just from the sound. Um, singer, I love Russell Allen a lot. You know. Russell Allen is still my favorite singer next to Jorn. Um, but it's difficult to get him always invited to my projects or singing maybe also as a special guest or something. But you know, it's like guitar player. I'm not really into two guitar player lineups anymore. You know, I like keyboard player more than it. For me, it's more. Yeah, you can make more variations of your style. You know, live maybe is a compromise, but on the studio I play everything alone. Doesn't matter. But you know, hard to say. It's like there's no dream band for me. Maybe as a second guitar player I would take Hendrix, Jimi Hendrix, and I would play rhythm.
Okay, okay. So now, as I said, and one of the last questions from this interview. So you were dismissed from the Halloween in 2001 due to the musical difference and tension surrounding the Dark Ride album at that moment. So looking back now, so do you feel that dismissal was justified, or do you still harbor something about how it was handled at that moment?
That I was fired. I mean,
Mm,
also was not cool, but at least you know, I still have the mail at home, and I was fired because of not really musical differences, because it's just an explanation of people telling the dark ride was a reason, blah blah blah. I was
mhm,
not responsible for the dark ride sound. I was just playing a lot there because otherwise the album would be never finished.
mhm,
I think the main reason was just we had a bad kind of relationship at that time, about jealousy, about everything, about business,
mhm,
about uh, you know, I like to go home. I was married at that time. I had two dogs, so I'm not hanging out in the pub for the whole night like other guys. So I
Mhm,
think many things didn't work out in a friendship kind of situation. But
mhm,
basically, I had a good relation to everybody even after. But now, since the reunion, they don't even talk to me. I don't know why. I had a good relation to Kai Hansen, Maike Kiske. I mean, Maike was singing on Hello Masterplan,
mhm,
Heroes. And Kai Hansen was in my studio in Slovakia visiting me. And yeah, now I hear many people heard maybe the rumors about last year, some statement of the singer of Halloween, one of them. And so in the moment, I have not the best relationship. So, but I see them maybe in 2 weeks. They play Sweden Rock and we play one day before. Maybe I see them. Who knows?
mhm. Okay, well, and this one, and this one, so you said Halloween had a massive and highly successful reunion with Michael Kiske, with Kai Hansen. So, were your approach to take part of that in that reunion, and how did it feel to see the celebrate that era and this one without you?
Uh, it's like it just shows me that the fans doesn't care. You know, who's in the
Mhm,
band. It's just about Michael Kiske, which is I think I agree. He's the most important part. He
mhm,
doesn't even write songs now and not even lyrics, nothing. But people love his voice, and I love his voice. So for me, he's one of the best, or the power metal voice. He's my favorite, next to
mhm,
Geoff Tate and Rob Halford. And I love it. It's just I know what the fans like, but they don't care so much if some guy is not there. And I don't think it's cool to have another two guys in the band like Uli Kusch and me. It
mhm.
looks like 10 people in the band. Doesn't make sense. You know. So I
Okay,
agree.
okay. So, well, this is the last question. So now talking about, especially just now for the future of the power metal, because now the future of the power metal is sustained as with the bigger bands or with the well-known bands, Masterplan, Halloween, Stratovarius, Sonata Arctica, and the list go on. A lot of bands more. But now there is no like a new band. I think the last new band that has a personal sound is Dragon Force, especially for me because there's too speed, too fast. That's the kind of sound from them. But now, besides of them, there is no a new band with a personal sound, especially for this new era. So the power metal is like stagnated like the thrash metal. The thrash metal belongs to the 80s. No new bands, the like, new sound appears in the thrash metal. The power metal is the same. So how do you see the future of the power metal with this sound stagnated just with the well-known bands, Masterplan, Blind Guardian, Stratovarius, Halloween, Dragon Force, etc., etc. And how do you see now the approach of the Japanese scene putting this kind of pop elements of their culture into the power metal?
Uh, I'm not really following the trends, but you're right. I mean, I don't see any younger bands playing this kind of style so much.
Mhm,
I mean, what I see, especially in South America, is a lot of cover bands playing this stuff. They're all like Halloween and
mhm,
Stratovarius and stuff like that, and it's still big. And even I go there now, play some Halloween songs from Time of the Oath, and people love it, and they're
mhm,
coming. It's just they're missing
mhm,
something there. But I agree. I don't know. I mean, all these musicians are not that old. I'm one of the oldest, to be honest, because compared to Michael Kiske, I'm 9 years older.
mhm,
But who knows what is in 5 or 10 years?
mhm.
People get old and stopping. I don't think every power metal band is playing like the Scorpions when they're 80. I think it's not cool. You don't want to see, especially me, I don't want to see this idols crawling on stage, can't walk anymore and singing like kind of, this is not cool. And especially on this high, powerful singing like Andy Darius or Michael Kiske and like Blind Guardian stuff or Stradivarius. This is like art, it's something you can be happy if you can sing like this in a higher age. So it's difficult. Maybe it will change in 10, 20 years because also the fans are getting older. If you see the fans, they're all 50, even 60 or 40, 50, 60, something like that, you know. And it's cool they're still enjoying it, but, you know, but maybe there will be drastic change in 10, 20 years.
Okay, okay. Well, Roland, we are right to the sad moment of this interview. Thank you very much for your time. This was a fun interview. Thank you for your time. This new arc is a great one. Congratulations on this new one. And obviously, perhaps do you want to add something to your Latin American fans that expect you return because you came last year, and perhaps, obviously, Metallerium followers.
Yeah, it was great to have this interview with you. Thank you very much. And like I said, we're happy to be back with a new album, more touring. South America, I think we go in March as a co-headlining band with some Italian guys. And I hope to see you soon, you know. And I'm always love to play in South America and hope to be back soon.